Here's an introduction to help you to get started with Logic Pro. When you first load the software, you will get this box that will come up. It'll ask you what kind of track you want to use, and in this first task you want to go for software instruments and click create. It always will come up for classic electric piano. So if we have a look at the list here, you can shuffle this back and you'll be able to see all the categories. We're going to choose percussion and we're going to go to studio. And if you play the notes on the controller keyboard in front of you, you start to hear different sounds. Right, I'm going to choose that one. So having chosen the sound, we're then going to record a rhythm. Now if you look at this at the top here, this display shows you what bar you're in and what beat you're in, and then this number here is the tempo. It's quite difficult to record 142 beats per minute. I'm going to make that slower. You can always speed it up again afterwards if you want to. I'm going to go to 84 beats per minute, and I'm happy with the time signature as 4/4, 4 crotchet beats in a bar. I'm going to switch my metronome on, and by pressing spacebar, you can clearly hear the metronome tick in the background. We must record to that tick, because if we don't, then none of our work will be in time. So I'm thinking of a rhythm. The rhythm that I'll create will be tea, coffee, lemonade, tea. Let's record that. Let's press space to stop. You'll see that something's recorded at the top there. Just ignore that for the moment. This is only something that's there for the demonstration to make my microphone work. So now that we've recorded it, we can edit it, and we must do that after every recording to keep the quality of what we do up. And to edit it, you just click on this green box, and the rhythm comes up at the bottom, and you can see that it's not quite in time. So if it was in time, these blocks would start exactly on the grid. So what I'm going to do is select them all, and I've got a quantized menu here, and I can choose 1/16 note, and you notice they all jumped into time. Okay, just to prove that, you can switch it off and they'll go back to the original position. So I'll switch that on again, 1/16. Now if you're not wanting to do all of them 1/16, for example, if you've got a triplet rhythm, you can just select your triplets and then go to 1/8 triplet if that was relevant. Okay, if we listen back to that, there you go, and you can hear the rhythm, and you can hear that it's exactly in time now. Now I'd like to create another track. I'd like to do it with the same instrument already loaded. So instead of going to add new track, which would be this button, I'm going to go to this button instead, which is duplicate track. So if I click on that, it brings up this new track underneath. Notice that I'm choosing to click on the R. That is called record enable. So when you press record, whatever is record enabled, it will record, which is why this also recorded before. We don't need that anymore, so we can delete that. Okay. Now I'm going to record a different rhythm, and I'd like it to complement this previous rhythm. So by complement, I mean that I want it to fit together, but I also want to make use of this space that I've got here. So instead of going T on the first beat, I'm going to go lemonade, and then you'll hear how they complement each other in a minute. So I'm going to go lemonade, tea, coffee, lemonade. Let's find an instrument first, just by trying a few different notes on the keyboard. I'm going to try that one there. Okay. And press spacebar to stop. Okay. Now we'll do the same as we did before. Notice the edit window is still open at the bottom. By the way, if you ever wanted to close that, it's just this scissors up here. We can open and close it, and it will show you whatever's selected at the top. So I'll do the same as I did before. I'll select all the notes. It's already pre-populated to 1/16. I'll just click Q, and there we go, they've gone into time. So let's listen to those two together. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this grey bar at the top, which is the loop bar, and if I set it around the material that I've created, when I press spacebar, they will continually play. And that's really helpful when they continually play, because then I can keep adding parts while it's still playing back. So I'm going to just keep doing that for a second, and we'll add a few more tracks onto this. Here we go. Always make sure record enable is on. You have to press stop each time to be able to quantize the material, but otherwise you can play along to it. If you want to just press record really quickly, you just press R, the letter R on its own. And spacebar to stop. So the more you do it, you'll get quicker at it as you go along. Let's add one more track. And that one, okay. Not sure about that rhythm, so if you're not sure, click on the box and press backspace, and let's have another go. Now that one I could actually quantize at, I could quantize that at 1/8, because the shortest note value is a quaver, but it's probably close enough to 1/16 to be fine. Okay, let's delete all these audio files that I don't want. And let's press play and listen to the final 5-part polyrhythm. And if I wanted to make that into a piece, perhaps what I could do is, if I hold down, draw around everything just like this and hold down Alt, which is next to spacebar, then when I click the middle of them, I can copy them across. So I'm clicking and dragging, and it's making a copy just like that. The reason I would do it like this instead of looping is when you loop something, it keeps it exactly the same all the way through. And it's nice to create some variation sometimes. So I'm going to come all the way across until we get to the end of bar 16. Okay, now if I was to play that all the way through, it'd be quite boring, because it'd be the same thing. Let's have a listen to a little bit of it. Yeah, so it's far too repetitive. So what you might like to do is, if we just use that function again at the top to loop it, just listen to one of them by just switching the solo on. Listen to how that sounds when it is together with another one like this. So we're now hearing the 2 tracks together. Okay, let's try something else. Try this combination. And what you want to do is kind of almost take a note of which ones work well together. Because what we're going to do now is switch the loop off, and you're going to decide how your piece starts. So I've decided I'm going to start with just that part on its own, and then this part on track 5 is going to come in at this point. Okay, Okay, let's listen to the piece so far. Press space. And you can see by deciding what happens when, so how the music starts, how long it needs to repeat to make it memorable, but then when it needs to change. These are all really important decisions when you're creating your music. Okay, anyway, that's the start to Logic Pro.